Daring Greatly: How the Courage to be Vulnerable Transforms the Way We Live, Love, Parent, and Lead by Brené Brown is a groundbreaking piece of writing that explores the idea of vulnerability and how accepting it can lead to more honest and brave lives. The main idea of the book is that weakness needs to be rethought. Brené Brown says that we shouldn't think of being vulnerable as a weakness, but rather as our best sign of courage. She says that being vulnerable isn't about winning or losing. Instead, it's about having the guts to show up and be seen when we don't know what will happen. Daring Greatly is not a traditional story with a plot and characters, but it does paint a rich picture of the common human experience of being vulnerable. It's full of touching stories and real-life examples that show the main points well. In the book, Brené Brown uses 10 years of study in her own life to bust several myths about vulnerability. One of these myths is that being vulnerable means you are weak, when in fact it is where innovation, creativity, and change start. Brown says that being vulnerable isn't about winning or losing. It's about having the guts to show up and be seen. Brown also looks at the idea of shame as a powerful and often unsaid thing that keeps people from taking big risks. She says it is the intensely painful feeling or experience of thinking we are flawed and, because of that, not good enough to be accepted and belong. She says that everyone has it and that the more we try to ignore it, the more power it has over us. The idea of wholehearted living, which is a way to interact with the world from a place of worthiness, is one of Brown's most important ideas. She talks about the power of what she calls wholehearted living, which is a way to interact with the world from a place of worthiness. She says that to live with your whole heart, you need to develop authenticity, self-compassion, a strong spirit, gratitude, joy, intuition, faith that you can trust, creativity, play and rest, calm and stillness, worthwhile work, laughter, song, and dance. Brown also talks a lot about how important it is for parents to be open and honest. She tells parents to let their kids see them mess up, get back up, say sorry, and move on. This is one of the best ways to teach children how to be brave and bold. Daring Greatly also talks about the bad effects of the culture of scarcity, which is a way of thinking in which people always feel like they don't have enough. This culture of never enough lives in a world of comparison, and it keeps going because we are easy to feel shame and afraid of being average. One of the most important parts of the book is when Brown makes the link between being vulnerable and being very brave. The phrase daring greatly comes from a speech that Theodore Roosevelt gave in 1910. In it, he talks about the worth of the man who is in the arena, tries hard, makes mistakes, and fails again and again, but keeps trying to do the right thing. This is Brown's take on what it means to be vulnerable. It's about showing up, taking risks, and being willing to be seen even when there's no promise of success. Through the book, Brené Brown shows us how to live a more courageous life by showing us how to accept our flaws and use our weaknesses to live more connected, engaged, and meaningful lives. In the end, Daring Greatly is a transformative and inspiring book that shows us that our strength comes from being vulnerable. It teaches us to accept our fears, face our shame, and take big risks when we don't know what will happen. Whether you're a parent who wants to be a better role model, a leader who wants to create a more inclusive environment, or just someone who wants to live a more authentic life, Daring Greatly offers deep insights that challenge our understanding of vulnerability and encourage us to live braver, happier, and more meaningful lives.